Captain Forest here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win, more often not in a cross-verse situation. Sakura from Naruto versus Amy Rose from Sonic. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for the content. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead, dive right in. I'm going to talk about Sakura first, and then I'm going to move on and talk about Amy Rose herself. Now, I'm mainly going to be using part 2 Sakura from War Arc. I'll also be using some novel stuff as well, just to kind of make things more interesting. But anyway, let's dive right in. So, in order to determine where Sakura would scale in terms of AP and speed, we must talk about some things. Before the end of part 1 of Naruto, Sakura was renowned for being one of the smartest out of her whole class. Unfortunately for Sakura, with all of the endless studying and learning, she did not have time to apply these techniques in practical and combative situations, essentially making her become a hindrance or pitted in dangerous situations which required the help of Naruto and Sasuke to save her. Sakura was aware of this and later on decided to become stronger and become an asset rather than a liability to her team. Despite a lackluster time during part 1, she did have some good moments. She was praised by Kakashi on her incredible chakra control. Now in Naruto Shippuden, Sakura became the disciple of Lady Tsunade in order to become more powerful, demonstrating her incredible use of chakra control by applying chakra to her hands and feet to strike down the opponents with great force. Now let's talk about the strength of the 100 Sealing. The 100 Seal is a jutsu from the Sage of Six Paths era that requires extremely delicate chakra control. By storing a vast amount of chakra over an extended period of time into a specific point of their body, the user creates the seal, which manifests in the form of a rhombus like marking. Once the seal is formed, the user's already impressive chakra control allows them to perform techniques without any wasted energy. When released, the seal will either spread across the user's face or wrap around their entire body. The stored chakra is then released into their body, greatly amplifying the power of their techniques. The seal will permanently remain in the center of the user's forehead, presumably so that the user can keep on benefiting from its effects. After training with Lady Tsunade for years, Sakura was able to successfully master the use of medical ninjutsu and awaken her seal. Hashirama states that Sakura's monstrous strength might be even greater than Tsunade's, and there is also a guidebook statement that compares Sakura's power to Tsunade's very own. Tsunade has feats of her own in part 2, as she was able to damage Madara's Susanoo rib cage and also punch a hole through him. She also has a guidebook statement stating that she has the destructive power to blow away a country. They both would easily scale to some of the tailed beasts with their Biju bomb feats, which they themselves have calcs putting them around the island, large island, small country, large country, to even the multi-continental ranges of attack potency. It's also implied in the manga and guidebooks that Sakura is at least comparable to KCM Naruto and EMS Sasuke. We can also get Sakura higher than this, folks. Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke fight against Kaguya. Sakura was able to physically damage Kaguya and give Naruto and Sasuke enough time to seal her. It's also stated by Sasuke that Kaguya is stronger than 6 Paths Madara and also above the Ten Tails, which the Ten Tails itself is the size of a planet. This is impressive because Kaguya has her own feat where she was able to destroy a pocket dimension containing moons, planets, and a star, which was stated in the guidebook. So this would put Kaguya in the solar system tiers of AP. But if you use the calc from Versus Wiki, which calcs the requirements to destroy something similar, this would place Sakura in the 16.88 Exafo, aka multi-solar system, which is very impressive. Alright, that's going to round up attack potency, bounce on over and talk about speed. Now if we go off the notion of Sakura being relative to Naruto and Sasuke, she would also scale to the feat of Naruto dodging Madara's Light Fang, which was calculated around the 4 times the speed of light, aka FTL reaction speed. If you use the Naruto novels, there is a feat that was performed by Sakura and Sasuke where they were both able to react and intercept light particles. This feat is impressive because Hagoromo is able to manipulate particles to travel to constellations in a short amount of time. This feat has different calcs ranging from the 1 billion to the 10 billion to the higher ends of 52 billion times the speed of light, aka massively faster than light plus, which is very impressive. Now let's go into conclude stats. I'm going to go ahead and move over and talk about some of Sakura's abilities. Due to Sakura being a user of the 100 ceiling heal and her talents in the chakra control department, it gives her a myriad of abilities. She can use her chakra to heal and regenerate injuries that she or her allies sustain in combat. She can remove and nullify poisons, and she's able to create an antidote to nullify poisons. Sakura can also summon Katsuyu, which its main purpose is to aid the summoner by splitting itself into smaller slugs to heal injuries, or be used for offensive means by shooting out corrosive acid at opponents. Due to Sakura's remarkable mastery of chakra control, she has incredible resistances to genjutsu and the ability to break people out of it. She can also use a substitute jutsu like Naruto and Sasuke, and like other shinobi in Naruto, she carries a myriad of ninja tools, so she carries kunais, shurikens in her ninja toolkit. Overall, Sakura is a strong, powering woman who was looked down upon as a liability and a useless bag of meat, to now being regarded as one of the most important and essential members of Team Naruto. In fact, if it weren't for Sakura's medical ninjutsu abilities, Naruto would have died during the war arc. That's going to round up everything for Sakura. I'm going to go ahead and move on, talk about the cute but formidable lady herself, Amy Rose. In order to understand where Amy would range in terms of attack power, we must address some feats. In Sonic Battle, Ultimate Emerald was able to absorb the energy of the final egg blaster within himself. The final egg has the potency enough to destroy the entire constellation of Centaurus. This was calced around the 465 exafo of TNT, aka multi-solar system. Sonic himself was able to defeat Ultimate Emerald within 30 seconds, which means that Sonic scales to this. Amy herself would also scale to this, as Amy is able to blitz and destroy Eggman's robots that were able to physically damage Sonic. With the combined effort of Sonic, Blaze, and Silver, Amy goes on to deal the coup de grace to one-shot a heavy egg robot with its own hammer. Despite Silver helping her telekinetically lift up the hammer, Silver notes that Amy did most of the heavy work to take it out, so Amy would be comparable to Sonic. So Amy would scale to the 465 exafo, aka multi-solar system. Also, for those who aren't aware, the Sonic IDW comics are canon to the games. Amy, while holding onto Sonic, who was running at fast speeds, is able to perceive his speed and is able to attack badniks at the same time. Sonic is also above the likes of Gamma, who is able to avoid Beta's laser, which was calced around the 5 times the speed of light, aka FTL. Now there are some higher finite speed feats to go over. In Sonic 4, Metal Sonic travels an interstellar distance while damaged. Eggman shows the distance that Metal Sonic has to travel to. This feat was calced around the 721 to 1161 times the speed of light, aka massively faster than light to massively faster than light plus. Inverse wise, Sonic scales to this due to him being above Metal Sonic, and he's beaten Metal Sonic 2 before, and Amy Rose would downscale to this feat as well. There was also a feat in Sonic Advance 3 that Super Sonic performs, where Super Sonic flew to the nebula in 6 seconds. This was calced around the 7 billion times the speed of light, aka massively faster than light plus. Eggman also scales to this as he was present during the battle, and he's able to keep up with Super Sonic's movements inside his Eggmobile. Now Base Sonic himself has surpassed past feats of Super Sonic back then, and his base would scale to this. It's shown that Sonic can keep up with Eggman's Eggmobile in base form as well as other characters, so you can simply backscale this feat to other characters. Amy should also at least downscale to this too. She's shown consistently, even back in like the mid-modern era, that she's able to keep pace and tag Sonic. Now that's going to round up speed. I'm going to go ahead and move over to Amy's abilities and her arsenal. Amy's weapon of choice is her Pico Pico hammer. This is her go-to melee weapon, which is used for bashing or swatting her opponents away. Amy also has some Toon Force abilities. The hammer also has Toon Force, as whenever the opponent gets hit by her hammer, they get flattened. Amy's hammer is versatile. She's shown to use it to hit objects at her opponents or redirect their attacks. She's used it in practical situations, such as breaking off a cliff end with a tree, causing it to fall into the water to create a bridge, smacking her hammer on the ground to activate a switch. She can also launch herself in the air by using the force of her hammer by hitting the ground. Amy can also swing her hammer to shoot out a love tornado which sucks up enemies that get caught in it. Amy can also perform the propeller hammer, where she spins around in mid-air to levitate herself in mid-air. Amy also has another version of her hammer called the long hammer, which is longer and has more range than her Pico Pico hammer. The warrior feather is a ribbon that grants the ability to spin her hammer around in a circle. Just like Sonic, Amy can perform the homing attack It's stated in the Sonic 06 official guidebook that the user of the homing attack is described to instinctively attack the weak spot of the opponent. Amy can also perform the spin dash, and Amy can also perform her own variation called the Amy dash, which gives her a boost of speed and destroys anything that gets in her way, and she can also perform the somersault. Amy, believe it or not, is kinda hacksy. Amy can use Storming Heart, where she summons a tornado of hearts on her opponents, which damages the opponents who are caught in it. She can also use Amy Flash to immobilize her opponents for 20 seconds. Amy can also turn herself invisible, and by focusing her energy, Amy can accelerate her healing. Overall, Amy is a kind, loving creature who cares deeply for Sonic. Don't let her cute, pink, petite body fool you. Amy Rose is certainly no damsel in distress. She's a powerhouse when it comes to her physical prowess and that hammer of hers. So that's going to round up both these combatants. I'm going to go ahead, give my thoughts on who I think wins more often than not in a cross-verse situation. We must talk about AP, speed, hacks, and ranges. Now, both combatants, Sakura and Amy Rose, they both have multi-solar system scaling, but when we look at both of them in terms of like the numbers, when we crunch them down, Amy scales higher into that tier. She is 465 exafos into the tier in comparison to Sakura's 16 exafo. She is essentially 29 times stronger than Sakura, so that's enough to one-shot Sakura. So I gotta give AP to Amy more often than not. Speed, if we look at lower end stuff, they're pretty comparable if we use only the FTL ranges. However, if we move on to the MFTL stuff, this isn't including the novels, then Amy's just going to speed blitz and one shot. When we look at the novel scaling, of course, with the, the lower ends of 1 billion, and then you got the highers, the higher numbers. If we use the lowest, if we use the lowest number in that tier, then Amy Rose is still going to have the speed edge. She's going to still blitz Sakura and one shot her. Then when we look at the higher interpretations of the calc, so if we use the mid end or the higher end of the the calc from the novels, then Sakura is going to be taking the speed department. She will actually be blitzing Amy. So now that I've addressed that, let's talk about some things. Amy Rose, she's got some decent hacks. She has a hammer. She likes to use that a lot in character. She likes to smack things down with her hammer. Toon Force, flatten people down with her hammer. If that touches Sakura, she's done for. There's just no questions asked, no arguments from me. But when we look at other hacks that she brings to the table, such as a time stop, and her storm attack, her tornado, the warrior's feather, and her other long hammer, those could be an issue. Invisibility, she can also heal herself if she needs to, if she takes damage. So she does have things to work with in those situations. Now, in terms of Sakura has her chi. Now, chi in Naruto can affect you on a physical, spiritual, and mental level. I think that's a really good, strong win con for Sakura. Now, she does lack in terms of AP. In the AP department, she may not have the physical prowess to take Amy down physically. She does have the spiritual and mental properties of her chakra, and if that hits Amy, that's going to one-shot Amy. Amy has no feats or resistances that I've seen, at least, for her being able to protect herself from soul attacks or attacks to the mind. So those are still some very impressive things and things to consider when it comes to this matchup. I don't think Sakura is still completely out of the game. Chakra is her strongest win con going into this. If we look at the lower end stuff, Amy Rose, speed edge, AP edge. She speed blitzes and one shots. We look at the mid-end stuff, we include the novel scaling. We use the mid and higher interpretations, and it's a different story. Sakura actually has the speed edge going into that, and she's going to punch Amy Rose with her chakra-infused fist, and that is going to one-shot and send Amy flying due to the spiritual and mental properties affecting Amy Rose. So, if we use the lower interpretations or even the mid interpretations, I think Amy takes victory more often than not in those scenarios. But if we use the higher interpretations of the novel, and we use the higher speed interpretations of the 10 billion to the 52 billion, then Sakura is going to blitz, run in, and pop Amy right in her face with the spiritual and mental aspects of her chi. That's going to one-shot Amy, no difficulty. But more often than not, if we're using just the lower to mid ranges, I think Amy Rose takes victory very comfortably. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Who do you think wins more often than not in this cross-verse matchup? It's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.